What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. We're going to have a quick break in the action for draft evaluations to talk about a little bit of Seahawks news and Seahawks rumor and Seahawks innuendo. And basically, it's just going to be a quick roundup of a few things we've heard over the last day or so. And we'll get back to the draft evaluations very soon here. But there is some stuff happening with this team that is worth quickly addressing. So, first of all, I'll talk about the thing that just came out like 15 minutes ago, per Aaron Wilson, and reinforced by several other insiders and reporters. The Seahawks are looking at signing potentially another veteran wide receiver, and this is an interesting one. It's Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup, very interesting career arc for Gallup so far. He's had a good career, but he's also had a career that has been marred by obstacles and issues that have cost him significant time, production, and it seemed like was even going to cut short his career. And we're having him in for a free agent visit, so there's some possibility that we sign him. This is worth spending at least a couple minutes on. Michael Gallup is only 29 years old. He just turned 29. He's a former third round pick. He was very successful with the Cowboys. He was coming on very strong. I remember that 2019 season. He had over 1,100 yards. He was looking like one of the next, not star wide receivers, but very good NFL wide receivers. Somebody that you could count on to be very productive year after year. Things slowed down a little bit the following year. And then I think it was 2021, he suffered a devastating leg injury, and that cost him the rest of 2021. And then it also kind of robbed him of his effectiveness in 2022. So he wasn't really that good of a player then. And then 2023 was kind of his last gasp, it seemed like. He did play, he did do some stuff. He actually had a very good game in the playoffs. Remember, that was the game where Dallas got blown up by Green Bay, but Gallup was like the only good player on Dallas. And then at that point, he left the Cowboys. I think they released him because he clearly wasn't worth the money anymore. He, I believe, signed with the Raiders and then retired because physically he just wasn't where he needed to be. So 2024, he basically took the year off. He didn't play. He wasn't, I don't believe he was on a team. I don't know if he was technically on the Raiders or not, but he had retired. Now he's trying to unretire, trying to come back into the league, and the Seahawks may be the team that gives him the opportunity to do that. So, kind of an interesting one. Definitely kind of feels like we're just trying to give ourselves as many opportunities to get a serviceable receiver. And Gallup is just kind of another guy that we think gives us a shot. But again, we haven't even signed him yet. So let's see where this goes. But I think this is not too bad of an idea. I think that Gallup is a worthy stone to turn over. One other thing that happened earlier today, Artie Burns signed with the Miami Dolphins. A lot of former Seahawks going to the Dolphins, I feel like. Signed a 1-year deal. And Artie Burns was a guy I would not have minded bringing back. He's one of those veterans who's kind of all there for you when you need him. I know that last year he wasn't because he got hurt, but I like Artie Burns. I think he plays fairly well when you call on him, and he's a good veteran to have around. But he is signing with the Miami Dolphins for the time being, so he is going to be out of here. And we did sign a veteran cornerback the other day, the Jean Charles guy. But Artie Burns is just kind of the consummate professional guy who is always going to be, in a break glass in case of emergency situation, he's there for you. One other thing I want to cover real quick, and this came out yesterday, and I didn't feel the need to talk about it then, but I may as well talk about it now. So I made that video about the Sam Darnold cap hits, and I said that they were very weird, and I kind of felt like they couldn't possibly be the entire story. So it's been confirmed by multiple people at this point that those are not the actual cap hits. So if you watched the Sam Darnold video yesterday, just know we don't know all the information yet. Over the cap, kind of, I don't know, they jumped the gun a little bit here. And in this business, you're going to jump the gun sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes you're going to get a little ahead of yourself. Sometimes you're going to get the numbers a little bit wrong. Nothing wrong with it. So that's what it happens. I accept zero responsibility for the misreported information. However, I can only go on what I get from places like OTC and Spotrac. So if you were thinking that the Sam Darnold contract didn't make a lot of sense, That's because it didn't, because that's not the actual contract. All right, so that's about it on that front. By the way, if you're wondering what are the Sam Darnold contract details, we don't know. We still don't know, which is weird. It's been more than a week since we signed him. I mean, come on. Okay. So anyway, um, the main focus of a lot of Seahawks fans right now isn't really any of this, I think. It's about what is supposedly happening at the VMAC today. A lot of people know that we are supposedly meeting with Tevin Jenkins at the VMAC today. He's coming in for a free agent visit, and there is some belief, some anticipation that he could be signed by the Seahawks today or I guess tomorrow. Um, we about the best I can say in terms of like news, and I do want to put that in quotation marks, would be from I Might Be Pop on X, and I know that sounds like I'm making a joke. I'm actually not. This guy had the Cooper Cup signing way before anybody else. I'm not kidding. This guy had the Cooper Cup thing. So when he says something, it's worth at least paying attention to for now. So he tweeted, a source confirmed to me last night that the Seahawks are preparing a substantial contract offer for guard Tevin Jenkins, with a deal expected to be finalized after his physical later today. The Seahawks have found their left guard. So this isn't Adam Schefter. This isn't Bob Condotta. This isn't Corbin Smith. This isn't anybody like that. I know that. It's some guy named Pop. But again, right now, he's at least worth pulling into your outer circle of trust. Maybe you don't pull him into the inner circle of trust, but he's at least worth the outer circle of trust because he did have the Cooper Cup stuff well in advance. Like, I think it was 8 hours before anybody else or something like that. So I don't think that we even needed this tweet to feel like this was a real possibility. We know we're meeting with Jenkins today. We have a desperate need at left guard. We presumably have cap space to spend on a good player, and he's a scheme fit. So I don't think that it takes an insider to know that this has a real chance of happening. Now, I haven't heard anything official as of me recording this video, but it sure seems like something could be happening here, and it sure seems like Tevin Jenkins could be our left guard for the short and intermediate term, which I said it before, I'll say it again. If they bring in Tevin Jenkins, my perspective on this front office and this offseason changes dramatically. Right now, I kind of sort of get what's going on, but I don't necessarily believe it's going to work as well as people think. But if you bring Tevin Jenkins on, I believe there's a ceiling that you have created that is much higher than the current ceiling. And I acknowledge that it's possible that it doesn't work, but that doesn't mean I'm ever going to criticize the team for trying. So we'll see where this goes. We'll see what we hear about Jenkins. I'll make a video later today with whatever it is that we hear, if we hear anything. And yeah, that's about it. So we're going to get back to the draft evals, but let me know what you guys think. See you guys soon. Go Hawks.